everyone. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for Thursday, May 30th. On today's show, we preview this summer's Nordic walking classes, which will happily take place indoors in the air conditioning. We'll also introduce you to Bill and Joan Schlackman, who worked in England for 30 years in the field of psychological market research. But first, a quick reminder about important events happening today and tomorrow. Dr. Chris Bottolato and his behavioral health team are always looking for new ways to serve the mental health needs of the Shell Point population. The newest opportunity happens this morning as we host an academy class with two experts from the Neuropsychiatric Research Center of Southwest Florida. Thanks to their research, it's now clearer than ever that early detection is the best treatment against conditions like Alzheimer's and other dementia disorders. But how can you keep your brain as fit as possible, as long as possible? Find out with Innovations in Brain Fitness, happening at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. All are welcome. And then tomorrow, are you prepared for hurricane season? Do you know what should go in your hurricane kit and when you should have it ready? Answers to all these questions are coming tomorrow morning as we hold our annual hurricane seminar. We'll hear from our Shell Point staff members who do the actual planning, as well as meteorologists who offer insight on what to expect this hurricane season. Bring your questions to the 2013 Hurricane Seminar, happening tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. in the church auditorium, and also being rebroadcast all next week on Shell Point TV Channel 13. We now turn our attention to exercise. And I know what you're thinking. It's just too hot out to go walking or biking. Well, that's no reason to sit on the couch until November. We've got the perfect way to keep that blood flowing and also improve your balance and posture at the same time. Nordic walking is a technique that utilizes specially made poles to help with your posture. During the summer, we walk indoors in the comfy air conditioning of the village church. Our next Nordic walking session begins a week from today, Thursday, June 6th. Let's get a preview from the instructor, Lindy Smith.
Well, it's time to beat the summer heat and go pole walking inside the church for the summer months. I'm here today with Lindy Smith, our Nordic pole walking expert and AFA certified instructor. She's going to be teaching class 8 different times throughout the summer months in the village church, and it costs $10 per each 1-hour session. Lindy, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So you've rearranged the class a little bit. You have your followers that have really enjoyed Nordic walking. I don't think we host an event where poles aren't being brought into the event now. You changed it up. What's the difference between running a series and running these one-time classes?
I find value in just getting a group of people together, showing them a little bit about what Nordic walking can do for them, instructing, letting everybody experience the activity of Nordic walking, and then after that they can make up their mind if they want to join in on another class as the expert.
Right. So you've designed it so some people will be the leaders almost, you know, look what she's doing, and you're going to push that person a little bit harder than the beginner. And you can sign up for 1 or 8 times throughout the summer.
That's right.
And we moved it inside, but you still have to wear comfortable shoes and exercising shoes, a running shoe or a walking shoe more specifically. And what can you do in the church? I know you have some unique opportunities in the church on how it's set up to teach.
Mary, this is the best venue ever because there is water available, there's a bathroom available, there's chairs available to sit down, there's the ramp that we can practice on. This church has everything that we need for a safe and fun and cool environment.
Right, right. It's a great way to get your exercise in. And you even use the stairs a little bit to, one, practice going up and down, but using those for stretching and to really work on some posture and so forth.
I've come up with some unique ideas on stations and or circuits, and what we do is we use the stairs, we use the ramp, we use the wall, we use the seats, we sit down, we stand up, we Nordic walk. It's terrific.
Right, right. Now, what are the benefits for those who haven't taken Nordic walking before? What are the benefits of Nordic walking?
I'd say the benefits of Nordic walking for anybody who hasn't had the experience is right away they feel taller, which at my size, I like that feeling.
Right.
But also, besides feeling taller, it's the breathing. The breathing becomes better because they're upright and their lungs have more room. And once they experience that for the first time, they realize how much more exciting it is to be upright and to move forward with intention.
All right. Well, it's a wonderful class, and we thank you for bringing Nordic walking to the Shell Point world. I know it is a craze right now, and I don't think it's going anywhere. They love it. They love it. So if you're interested in learning about pole walking, or if you already are out there pole walking but want a little bit more advanced instruction, you can sign up for this class. Take a look at your Health Connection booklets for times, location, and days. That's in the Health Connections booklet once again, and it costs $10 per session. You can sign up at either service desk. Lindy, let's wish them a happy and healthy day.
Happy and healthy day.
Our next story is about a couple who represent the best of both worlds, from both the United States and England. Joan was born in England, but met her husband while living in New York. Bill was born in New York, but after marrying his British bride, they moved to England and lived there for 30 years. Bill was a pioneer of psychological market research, which examines the mindset of consumers so companies can better know what products to offer them. Let's learn more about this intercontinental couple.
I was born in the Bronx, but my childhood was spent in Brooklyn, New York. We lived through the Depression, of course, which left a very strong impression on me. And I remember, for example, coming home and all our furniture was in the street. And that was because my father couldn't pay the rent. He didn't have the money. So it was a real difficult time during the Depression. I was at public school in Brooklyn, and then I went to a high school in Brooklyn, Samuel J. Tilden in Flatbush, New York. And then I went to Brooklyn College, and then I got a master's degree in City College and specializing in clinical psychology.
I was born in London, and we lived in London until the war. And then my father evacuated us with our parents to the countryside about 40 miles from London in the hope that we'd be safe. We lost our home. Our home was landmined. My parents rented a big house with about 6 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. And practically everyone my mother grew up with found us and knocked on our door when the air raid started. And so our house was always full, people sleeping everywhere, but mostly in the cellar. There was a cellar to the house. And every night we'd all get in our pajamas and dressing gowns, go down to the cellar and sleep in chairs. My childhood was checkered by the war and life was difficult. I was a designer. I had quite a reputation at the time. I was probably one of the youngest designers at the time of Mary Quant, who was a very well-known name. I came for a vacation. I decided to stay and I tried to get a job, but it was very difficult. I got a temporary job at Lord & Taylor, and the first counter they put me on was the apron counter, which I thought was an insult, but they didn't know anything about me, so I was lucky to get a job. And the aprons, it was Christmas time, and they gave me a pile of aprons that were made of black tulle, and they had little Christmas trees and bells on them. So I thought I'd make it exciting. I modelled them, and I stood behind the counter and shook myself, did the shimmy so that the bells all rang. And I sold a tremendous amount of aprons. People came in and asked for the little British girl.
I had a friend who wanted to go to a social event at the Temple Emmanuel in Manhattan.
I went back to my apartment that night and wrote to England to my parents, and I said, "Tonight I met a man I'd like to get to know better." And here he is.
I'm flattered. We got married probably within 3 months of me first meeting her. The company I was working for, I eventually became a vice president in that company, and he sent me over to be the managing director of that unit in the UK. Basically, what we were doing is indicating what the key factors were that attracted people to different products that we were studying. And this kind of information was very helpful in developing merchandising and marketing and advertising. Take something like selling automobiles. We did a study and we found, for example, that young men wanted to have convertibles. They wanted something racy and sporty. But once they got married and got kids, they were frustrated because it was not practical to have that kind of vehicle. So what we suggested to the Ford Motor Company, they produce a car that looked like a convertible, but wasn't a convertible. That would make it practical from the view, but they'd be able to get the satisfaction that they're having a racy, sporty car. And this gave rise to the hardtop convertible. For example, I think there was a Betty Crocker cake mix. Now, interestingly, in those days, homemakers felt very guilty about buying something in a pack and stirring it up with some water and creating a cake, because that was, taking the easy way out, and they weren't being good mothers and good homemakers. So we told them to add an egg.
And remember, those fresh eggs added to Betty Crocker cake mixes help give that special homemade goodness.
Give them compensation so they feel less guilty about serving and using that kind of product. In England, I was among the first people to introduce these kinds of methodologies into advertising and marketing.
People didn't know how to take him at first, but then they regarded him as, well, he's an American. What do you expect?
So that's very, very true. At that time in England, there was very much a class system. And people who were from the working class and from Whitechapel and these downgraded areas, they were looked down upon. They didn't know that this guy is a low-class jerk from Brooklyn. No, they said he's a Yank, so they forgive me. And the important thing, of course, I was able to mingle with in the English hierarchical social structure from the top to the bottom.
We even ate with the Duke of Edinburgh and sat with him at his table, which was amazing to me.
From 1958 until about 1990, something like that, I worked in the UK.
We were younger and it was exciting, and it was really a very good life. Bill is far more
British than you are.
I became more Americanized. We're newcomers.
Yes, we're relatively new to Shell Point altogether. We had a home on Sanibel.
We made so many friends on Sanibel and in the surrounding area, and they're all here.
A lot of them.
We all aged at the same time.
They refer to this place as Sanibel North. It has so much facility in terms of activity and so on that this is, for us, a really wonderful environment.
Coming up, it's time to go through all of today's happenings from Resort Services. Then, after your Academy News and menu, stay tuned for Village Church Connections.
Thank you for tuning in to the Happening segment. Today is Thursday, May 30th, and Suzanne and I are here to tell you about what's going on the Shell Point campus today. At 7:15, bright and early, the Bend, Breathe, and Balance class will take place in the Health Club. The Men's Golf Association will be teeing off at 8, and the men's doubles round-robin tennis players will be also grabbing their rackets at 8 o'clock. At 8:30, the Paddlers Club will be meeting in the kayak storage to head out on our waterways. 9:15, shuffleboard players will be playing behind the Resident Activity Center. And at 9:30, the current events group will be meeting in the game room at the Woodlands. We're going to head back to the tennis courts at 9:30 for ladies match play. And it's time for some line dancing fun. At 9:45, introduction to beginning line dancing takes place. 10:15 is for basic line dancing, and 11:15 advanced line dancing. All 3 line dancing classes take place in the Island Health Club. Suzanne, how do we start the afternoon?
We'll start it off at 1:15 with Mahjong being played in the Library Lounge on the island. At 1:30, the Walk With Me support group will meet in the hospitality room of the Village Church. 2:45, we have a Health Connections, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club on the island, and this is closed. At 4 o'clock, the seamstress will be here for the weekly service in the Osprey room on the island. 4:30 is the time for the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable room at the Woodlands. At 7 o'clock, we have Pinochle in the Library Lounge on the island, and we have the Trailblazers Bible Study Group meeting in the game room at the Woodlands. That wraps up our Thursday. We'll see you back here for the weekend edition tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday. At 9:15, Skype Basics begins in the Computer Teaching Center on the island, and sign-up is required. At 10 o'clock, we have Innovations in Brain Fitness in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands for those who have signed up. And then tomorrow, we have Academy on the Go, All Florida Juried Art Show. Sign-up is required.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is brie chicken with fettuccine and broccoli. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $10.95, and the soup of the day is navy bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy a fish sandwich with coleslaw and chips for $6.95. The dinner special is Thai night for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are New York Strip for $19.95 or crab cakes for $16.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Let me welcome you to Village Church Connections today. Thank you for joining us. I'm here with Pastor Andy Hawkins. And Andy, we are going to be talking a little bit about an opportunity coming up on Wednesday afternoon, June the 5th. And it's an opportunity for those who would like to meet and spend a little bit of time with our pastoral staff to get together and do that. Tell us about Coffee with the Pastors.
I love Coffee with the Pastors. It was one of the things that I was excited about when I came here, to recognize that there was a regular opportunity for people who are fairly new to our congregation to get together with not only me but the entire pastoral staff, and to learn about who we are, some of our background and experiences, and then for us to get to know them as they seek to discover more of what it's about to be a participant in the body of Christ here locally in the Village Church. And so we get the chance to really get acquainted with some neat people, and especially in my case when I'm still very new here at Shell Point, any opportunity I have to rub shoulders with people has been a great blessing to me. But it's a blessing to the folks who come, because they not only get a chance to talk to me, but also to the wonderful staff that we have. We have a terrifically experienced and highly qualified staff here. It's been a pleasure to work with. And I would think that if folks haven't had a chance, I don't care how long they've been here, they could be here 10 years, if they haven't had a chance to come to a Coffee with the Pastors, this would be a great opportunity to really get a chance to know those folks.
We do. We spend some time a little bit more informally, really, allowing everybody that is there to introduce themselves and tell a little bit about their background. We all take the opportunity to introduce ourselves, and then we talk a little bit about the church and about the ministries of the church, and we allow questions, and it's just a really beneficial time for all of us, I think. And of course, we serve refreshments.
Hey, that's right, refreshments. That's why I come.
So 1:15 on Wednesday afternoon, June the 5th, and we certainly invite anybody that has interest to come and be a part of that time. And then we typically follow Coffee with the Pastors with another opportunity, a membership class. Tell us about that.
That's right. For people who are really interested in finding out in more detail and depth the nature and function of the Village Church, and in a way that might lead toward sort of formally connecting with the Village Church, we have a membership class. And we've been offering that membership class on the Sunday following Coffee with the Pastors, and a lot of people who come to one then will go to the other. And we spend about an hour and a half or so going through various topics, like what it means to be a genuine Christian, what the church is really supposed to be like from a biblical perspective, something of the history of this church and the association that it has with our parent denomination, the Christian Missionary Alliance, and then they have an opportunity to find out and ask questions like you mentioned to me. And so it's a wonderful opportunity. There's a whole packet of material that we give them. Gives a lot of in-depth information. And the Village Church is perhaps somewhat unique in that obviously we have a lot of people from a lot of different denominations. And so I love that kind of atmosphere, really, because I've been several denominations over the years in my Christian walk. You know, I've been Methodist and Presbyterian. I have a son and daughter-in-law who are Baptist, you know, so there are a lot of various interesting backgrounds, and that's the way the Village Church is. And so, sort of joining and connecting with the Village Church in no way is kind of a parochial kind of group. It's really a group that is quite expansive, and it's one of the reasons why I like the name Alliance in our denomination's name, because we really have a wide variety of people and different backgrounds, and it's exciting to minister in that context. And so if people come, they'll learn that we're a church that majors in the majors, and that we're interested in the fundamental issues of historic Orthodox Christianity, and that we don't get divided over little issues, those kinds of things. We'll talk about those things in that membership class. And then, of course, a lot of people at Shell Point, as is typical in Florida, really, go north for a period of time and perhaps have their own church home. And we have an associate membership for folks like that who want to retain their association with the church up north, but at the same time form a formal connection with us down here in the Village Church. So there are a lot of options, a lot of opportunities, and great educational opportunities as well to find out what's happening.
It really is, and it's a no-pressure environment.
Absolutely.
It's an opportunity to just come and learn and ask questions and try and figure it out. And then if God leads accordingly, we certainly welcome anybody to join as they see fit. So we invite you to Coffee with the Pastors on Wednesday afternoon, June the 5th at 1:15 in the hospitality room at the church. And then on June the 9th, Sunday afternoon at 4:30, will be our membership class. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
We are glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as we head out to the Shell Point Golf Club, where we'll get the latest update on the greens that are being rebuilt from scratch. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, May 30th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.